Hello guys, how are you doing? How are you today? So I've decided to do something a little bit out of the box because I've never done this kind of thing. So it's my DVD slash Blu-ray haul. It was last week, so there was a bargain, a nice occasion promotion, so I decided to go for it. And you know, when you buy something in bulk, so it's extremely cheap per item, per disc. So I think it was worth it. And let me just go through all this the purchase, let's say this big purchase. So let's start with maybe with DVDs, right? So it will be a couple of, not even a couple, there will be lots of them. So here we go. Let's start with the first pile. So you have the Iron Giant. Of course, it's available on Blu-ray. I remember I've seen it once, and it's a great film. I think that it flopped during its premiere, and if I'm not mistaken, so the voice of the Iron Giant is provided by Vin Diesel. I think so. I can't find this information, but I'm pretty sure. But how come that it's not? Maybe I'm not right about this voice after all, because featuring the voice talents of Jennifer Aniston, Harry Connick Jr. and others. So I'll have to check it, but I know that it's a renowned film and it's held in high esteem. Okay, and the next one, actually, My Girl, the second part. The first one wasn't available there. I have this double pack on Blu-ray, the first one and the second one, released by Mill Creek. But I decided to go for this one because it has many subtitle options. It's also Spanish, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, lots of them. So it's a good educational material also. So that's why. Alright, and now it's a Christmas classic. Actually, I've never seen it. I know what it's about, and it's a nice addition because it contains this film in two versions. The colored one, of course, the original, the black and white one, so whatever you want. I think it's available on YouTube because it's from 1947, so I don't know if there are any copyrights still regarding this film, but it's an all-time classic. It's featured in many American films today, even. They refer to it constantly, all the time. And now a very nice comedy, Borat. Yes. So actually I have it, but it's sealed. So this one is a used one, so I don't have to unpack the one which I already own. And of course it's a great comedy, so I remember, so you can burst out laughing while watching this one. Is highly recommended. It's for multiple viewings. It's just a fantastic film. And it's almost a little bit like a reality show, like a documentary or mockumentary. Yeah. The next one on the pile is Airplane. So again, I have it on Blu-ray, but there are many options, many subtitles, so I decided to pick it up as well. And what can you say? It's just one funny scene after another. It's hilarious, and what's even better is that it's grounded in reality as much as it can. And actually it's a parody of some old flick, so they bought the rights in order to not be accused of plagiarism. Highly recommended, definitely, all-time classic as well. And this one, this is the third time I've bought it. I like this film. I have huge sentiment, nostalgia towards it. I saw it at the cinema when I was a kid, and it's a Disney production. It's been heavily criticized, but I just like it. Maybe it's because of this sentiment which I developed. So actually I've purchased it for the third time. So I have 3 copies of this, but if it's like extremely cheap, so why not have it? Especially that it's a pretty rare item. Now Cruel Intentions, I have it on Blu-ray as well. So once again, the case is the same. So many subtitle options, and I don't know, just to have it, right? Another one, the same case, Matilda, got it on Blu-ray. Many options there, many options here. It's a fantastic flick based on a book, and I remember, so I loved it when I was a kid. I still like it very much. I come back to it every now and then. Danny DeVito is hilarious here, and his wife, because Rhea Perlman is his wife. So also great family flick. In the Name of the Father, I got it on Blu-ray, the UK release. So it's a very powerful drama, a prison flick also. I've seen it once, I don't remember it very well, but I know that it has very good opinions And Daniel Day-Lewis, he's always spectacular in any role he takes up. He decides to play. And there is also, what is his name? Pete Postlethwaite, yes, also a very good actor. And Matt Thompson. I've never seen this one, The King and I. So with Yul Brynner, yes, Yul Brynner, and it's from 1956. Actually, it's pretty old, I would say, older than I thought. But it's in color. It has many subtitle options. Looks nice, like a comedy drama. The visual and musical masterpiece. So is it a musical? I have no idea. That sounds pretty appealing. And the price, can you believe that? £16.99? I don't think so. And now, so I've already reviewed the first part, and now I just wanted to watch the second one. Of course, it's available probably on streaming platforms, but I didn't have access to it. And now here it goes, almost for nothing, for pennies. And the same linguistic options, subtitles options as the first one. So I've heard that it's pretty okay still, because Eddie Murphy is in there, unlike in the next parts made straight to DVD. And this one, actually, I think that it had either the same or even a bigger budget than the first one, but it didn't earn that much. It didn't gross as much at the cinema. But still, I think it may be worth trying. Why not? Even if the formula, it had been a little bit tried at the time of its release. Now, Legally Blonde, the first part, I've seen either only the first one or both of them, I'm not sure, but I liked it very much, actually, for what it was, of course. So it was a chick flick, and Reese Witherspoon was hilarious in that role. There was a nice chemistry between her and Owen Wilson. Yeah, it's a good comedy, good film movie. And now we have Future Sport, so it's a little bit like a quasi straight to DVD production. I'm not sure about it. But it wasn't that bad. It was, I think, it was better than Rollerball by McTiernan. That was a disaster, really. It was very flashy with high budget, but actually this one is a modest flick over, with much less panache, and I think that it was better, as far as I remember, because it's been a long time since I saw either of them. But, it's nice to have it. I think that there is a German Blu-ray release, so I'm not sure about the quality. And now we have, The Girl Next Door. It's a very nice comedy. So it plays a little bit with the formula. So it's, a complete loser falls in love with a beautiful girl who turns out to be a porn star. And this is interesting. It has good opinions, and yeah, it's a nice film. And now, Steve Martin. The famous, the immortal Steve Martin. Sergeant Bilko. That's a nice military comedy. Nice flick. Pretty funny. Steve Martin, as always, so he holds his own. And he is with Dan Aykroyd and Phil Hartman in this film. Yeah, it's pretty nice as well. There is a Blu-ray release, but I think that it was released by Fabulous Films and they don't have any subtitle options. And this one, Loser, with Jason Biggs from American Pie. I remember I was pretty surprised with it because it's a college film and it's about the titular loser who wants to study hard because he's from a small city, so he wants to pass everything with flying colors at university, and he wants to make it big in a big city. And he falls in love with a girl who works in an animal shelter, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm surprised that also there is Greg Kinnear in the cast. It's a good flick. I need to come back to it. And it features this pretty popular song called Teenage Dirtbag. Okay, and this one, so actually it's the second season. I know it's packed, so... it's a classic. Married with Children. So they go overboard in almost every episode of every season. So you just know what you get with this one. Married with Children. And now a very good boxing film, Cinderella Man. So back in the day when Russell Crowe was in great shape, he's completely unrecognizable if you compare him with, for example, Russell Crowe himself with from the film The Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling. It's a great, powerful drama, boxing drama, realistic. He was, what was the name of the boxer? Jim Braddock, an Irish guy, if I'm not mistaken. And very nice release, by the way. So of course it's only a mirror DVD, so the picture quality is not there not on par with any Blu-ray release, but the film is great, so it's good to have it. Maybe in the future a Blu-ray release. I know it's been released, so I'm sure of it. And a couple of more DVDs. So the original Evil Dead, a very nice edition, so why not? It's a cult classic. Next, The Exorcist, the original one by William Friedkin. So it's also a classic, but I've heard that unfortunately it hasn't aged too well. So now it's more hilarious than ever. So in the past it was thrilling, it was scary, and now it's a little bit hilarious. I know, I would need to rewatch it to find out about it. But the edition is very nice, isn't it? I'm not a fan of horror films. This is the original, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Tobe Hooper's original uncut version. Jesus, it looks so very nice, but oh my goodness. Like a very gory, violent flick. I'm not sure whether I'm up to this task of watching it. Ooh. Okay, we'll give it a go probably sometime in the past. And this seems like a nice flick because it's available on Blu-ray, but I've heard it's, the quality of that Blu-ray is horrible, so here we have this on DVD with even subtitles. The Blu-ray is devoid of subtitles, I think. So it may be a nice football flick with Sean Bean in a surprising role. I like football flicks, motion pictures, so this one could be really a bullseye. And now to the more interesting part. So also for the same price, in the same batch, some Blu-ray films. Many of them. So you have the Three Musketeers in 3D. So actually it's a double pack, yes. Right? 2D and 3D, two Blu-rays, two Blu-ray discs. I've seen it once. I think that I could rewatch it, but it was nothing special, nothing spectacular. It was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, the guy who directed Mortal Kombat, and his muse is of course Mila Jovovich. It's good to have it. Insomnia, actually I already own it on Blu-ray, but it was for nothing, for pennies, so why not to have it for the second time in your collection. You know, it's Christopher Nolan's classic. It's one of his masterpieces, very good. Robin Williams in a very atypical role, like a shady guy, yes, with a checkered past. Highly recommended. The first Avengers film. I remember the first time I saw it, either at the cinema or on a, probably it was not at the cinema but on Blu-ray, so I wasn't blown away with it. But then I've developed a liking to it and a sentiment, and it had to grow on me. So the first screenings, they were fantastic, and now I think that really it's maybe even the best of the Avengers, because Captain America Civil War, it was a Captain America film. I think that really the first part, all in all, is maybe even the best one, the most appealing one. It was this fresh idea, all the superheroes together with a budget, with a great idea, with a panache. So the second and the third screenings were really good. And the Thor, I don't like this franchise, to be honest. All the Thor films, especially that is the Dark World, the second one, nothing too fancy, but it's sealed, so why not? I'm not ever gonna even open it. And this one, actually, I've heard that it's a very nice action comedy. I don't know too much about it, so it's like a little bit like Die Hard, I think. The same idea, so somebody is held hostage, maybe his son, or 12 hostages, 24 hours, one partridge. So it might, I've heard it's very hilarious. Now, we have Puss in Boots, Shrek spin-off. I've seen it once, it was nothing special. Of course, in terms of Shrek, the film, so the first one, the second one, they are fantastic. Shrek Forever is very underappreciated, the fourth part. I'm not very fond of the third one, and I think that it's been criticized. But coming back to Puss in Boots, starring Antonio Banderas, actually providing the voice of the titular cat. So why not? I may give it a go once again. Okay, and this one, so you know, it's I bought it because I bought everything in bulk. So the Twilight, I saw one of the parts at the cinema, it was hilarious, but not in a good way, like unintentionally. That was a disaster, how it was directed, like a cheap Brazilian TV series. I have this one somewhere, I don't know where, but without a cover, so now I have it with a cover, and it was, I think that it was a very undercooked disaster film. So it wanted to be the next Independence Day, the first one, but it failed to be one. Or maybe in the future I'll watch it also. And the second pile, Logan, a very good film. The last of the franchise of the X-Men Wolverine films. Yeah, very mature, of course. And it's good to have it. It's very slow paced, a little bit like a western. Some people compare it to this kind of a genre. Alien Covenant, what a disaster. Yes, it's the worst of the franchise. So Prometheus, it was much better. It couldn't even hold the proverbial candle next to Prometheus. So, what a nightmare it is. They destroyed the franchise completely with this Alien Covenant. Horrible, my goodness. Oh, once again, Thor, the same edition, sealed. Now we have a Kong Skull Island. Actually, I was mildly surprised with it. I saw it at the cinema when it premiered, and it was a little bit, it had this Apocalypse Now vibe. So it was a little bit, they tried to do something a little bit more than a typical action flick, and partially they succeeded. So I could come back to it, why not? Very spectacular. So I remember they started burning or dumping napalm, I think, in a jungle. So there was this scene when everything was reflected in one of the pilot's sunglasses, and it was pretty nice. And now we have Nixon with Anthony Hopkins. I already have it in my collection. I own it, but it's good to have it. It's a 2-disc edition. It's pretty longish, I think 3 hours or something like this. Yes, more than 3 hours. But if you are into the history of America, so of course, give it a go. And now something produced by George Lucas, Red Tails. I've heard some good opinions about it, so I may give it a go. I will definitely give it a go, sooner or later. It's about some flying squadron, I think, consisting of African Americans. Oh, no comment. The Twilight Saga New Moon. This one, The Hunger Games, not a fan. It's the first one. So actually maybe it's even the best one out of the whole franchise. Sealed. I'm never gonna open it. That was a nice surprise. Appaloosa. I remember I've seen it once. It's a very good western, atypical a little bit. I remember that somebody told me that the sound effects, like they are a little bit toned down, not like typical western. So they try to go for the realistic vibe in terms of that. And generally, it's like a clash of two great actors: Viggo Mortensen, Ed Harris, and there is Renee Zellweger or Jeremy Irons as well. That's a nice pickup. That's nice. That's a nice surprise. And last but not least, Deadpool, the first one. It was quite okay. I remember that I was surprised that, like, the beginning of it, so it took part on some some motorway or somewhere, like a huge chunk of it, and in trailers they also featured that motorway, and there was like some fight scene, so that was hilarious. Like, there was nothing else apart from that scene on that motorway, and they tried to promote it, to propagate it like this, yes, to endorse it in this way. But actually it turned out to be a very nice flick playing with the superhero formula, because he's an anti-superhero a little bit. Okay, so that's it, guys. So like I said, so I'm a big fan of collecting things, physical media. So if you like this kind of content, so you could give me thumbs up, why not? Alright, and just to paraphrase my favorite comedy, so Borat, where is it? Just a second, I will try to dig it out from the pile there. So, alright, just like Borat, jak się masz? Thank you for your attention, it was great. So these are very nice motion picture films, and I hope that you've liked this video. If you've liked that, so please leave some nice comments. I'll be much obliged for that. Thank you very much. Dziękuję.